1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Oh, I have to face him?
So, imagine you're in an airplane and you're flying across the Pacific. The year is 1937 and you and your co-pilot are both trying to figure out what you're going to do because something's going wrong with your plane. You don't know exactly what is going wrong, but something is going very wrong. And you have to decide on what island to land on. So, which island do you land on? Amelia Earhart was in the same predicament way back when in 1937, when she was on her last flight before she disappeared. And so, who was Amelia Earhart? Well, she was the first female pilot and she disappeared on her last flight. There are many theories that have popped up because of that, some more credible than others, and there is one in particular that is the most likely. So, according to an article by Elizabeth Haynes for History.com, she lists that there are 9 different theories. There are more, but there are 9 different theories that she finds to be the most entertaining, with one in particular being the most likely. And in fact, this one, about 70% of historians can agree on this one, and it is that she landed on Gardner Island. So, to understand Amelia Earhart and in her last moments, you have to understand who she was and where she came from. So, who was Amelia Earhart? Well, Amelia Earhart was born on July 24th in 1897 in Atchison, Kansas. She came from a broken home in which her father was a drunk, and he drank all their money away, and it went for years and years until finally her mother decided to move her and her sister over with her grandparents. And so then they lived there until in World War I, Amelia Earhart saw all of the wounded soldiers coming back and all of the devastation and everything, and she decided to sign up for the Red Cross and become a nurse's aide. And she stayed there all the way through World War I, until afterwards she decided to go to Columbia University and study medical studies. That changed, though, in 1920 when she took her first airplane ride. She went on an airplane and she was instantly hooked. She enjoyed the ride. It was thrilling. It was great. She just enjoyed it very much. So the following year, in 1921, she went ahead and bought her first biplane. It was a yellow biplane, and she nicknamed it the Canary. Very, very pretty pictures of it exist. Well, years go by and she becomes this great pilot. Finally, she goes on her last flight and disappears. So now there are many, many different theories that exist, and I'm going to go ahead and name a few of them that are not likely, one being quite likely, but the other 2 being not likely at all. So the first theory is that she simply ran out of fuel on the Pacific, crashed into the ocean, and died. That is a plausible theory. It could have happened. We wouldn't really know until more evidence has been found. So the second theory is that she was a spy for FDR, trying to get intelligence on the Japanese before World War II to see what they're doing, and then she crash landed on Saipan, where she was promptly captured by the Japanese and then stayed as their prisoner until she died, which is very, very, very unlikely. There's no evidence of this whatsoever. It's just a popular theory because in a movie about her life called Flight for Freedom, that was the main premise, and that she was a spy for FDR. And the third theory is that she did crash, but then she survived her crash and was covertly moved to New Jersey, where she lived out the rest of her days under just some random alias. The problem here, though, is the creator of this theory legitimately picked an actual New Jerseyan woman and claimed that this woman was Amelia Earhart. And this lady did not like that at all. She sued him for $1.5 million for using her name without her permission, and just caused a whole lot of trouble. And by the end of it, no one believed that she was Amelia Earhart. No one believed that that theory was true in any way, shape, or form. Though the most widely accepted theory is this: Amelia Earhart was flying across the Pacific. She was running out of fuel, and in a split-second decision, she decided to land on Gardner Island. and there she remained without any rescue until she died. And this is the most likely. In fact, the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery reported that there was a rescue team way back when they were searching for her, and the rescue team actually flew over Gardner Island, and they saw that there was life on the island. They saw that there was civilization of sorts, and they just assumed that the island had been inhabited for years and years and years, didn't think anything of it, and just flew on by. Unfortunately, though, that island had actually not been inhabited, like, ever. They just made a mistake. They probably saw Amelia Earhart without even realizing it. So then, for more evidence in this being the correct theory, in a recovery mission also done by Tigar, they found that there was an empty freckle cream jar of the exact same brand that Amelia Earhart was known to use on that island. Then, they also found a piece of plexiglass that was the exact width and shape of the plexiglass that she used for her biplane windows. Then, finally, according to the editors of Biography.com, in October 2014, it was reported that researchers at the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, TIGAR, identified a fragment of Earhart's plane. Specifically, they found an aluminum panel that matches the dimensions of what her plane would have been. So, with all the evidence that TIGAR has produced, there are many searches today hoping to find new evidence, but with the evidence TIGAR has produced, it is very likely that she just landed on Gardner Island and spent the rest of her days there. So, in conclusion, Amelia Earhart, she was a great pilot. She was the first female pilot. She died way too early when she disappeared on her last flight, which led to many different theories being created about what really actually happened to her. Though with evidence from TIGAR, the likelihood of any other possible theory being true has diminished. Nearly most historians agree that she landed on Gardner Island and remained there until she died. Amelia Earhart was a great inspiration to women of all time and just to everyone in general.